Well, hey everyone, welcome to the next episode of All the Mods 9 GregTech Gauntlet. You've caught me in a bit of a weird spot here. I'll see you in a sec. Hey everyone, my name is KryptoCal, and welcome to the next episode of All the Mods 9 GregTech Gauntlet.
I'm dizzy. Oh, I made it.
In the last episode, we crafted up our very first HV circuit, which is right behind me, and in the time in between episodes, this has fully stocked up 2048 HV circuits that we can now play with. Oh boy. I'm excited. And coming on into our quest line to kind of recap what we're looking at getting into, we are basically starting directly into this HV quest line. We're pretty much all finished up with all the MV stuff, and we're ready to take on this next challenge. Now, we haven't really done a whole lot in the HV section, a couple small things here and there, but this is all pretty much going to be brand new for us.
Are you ready to get stainless steel automated?
I've been ready.
Preparing for this moment my whole life.
But stainless steel is simply one component of a much larger quest line. Let's not set our sights too narrow here.
No. This is true, but also getting stainless steel is the backbone of everything else in this entire tier. Every machine is going to be banking on us having a very solid and very robust supply.
So the actual stainless recipe for dust looks pretty straightforward. Just requires some manganese, some nickel, iron, and chromium, all of which we've kind of used in the past already. So this should be pretty straightforward. Going into the EBF though, this takes, well, if you don't use nitrogen, it takes 55 seconds, and that's at HV tier. So we're gonna have to probably make use of that nitrogen that we got in the last episode to help speed up this whole process. And it cuts down the time by almost 20 seconds, which is actually pretty huge.
We do have a problem though. One thing that we need is chromium, and currently we're not actually storing chromium. We're currently making it here, but we're not actually storing it anywhere. It's immediately being taken and put into this machine to make kanthal. So we just need to make a drawer to store it in instead of doing it like this, or we need to add another one of these to make chromium for stainless steel.
Yeah, so we could effectively just set, but the problem is we're always going to want this to be kept in stock first, the mixer.
Yes.
So we can basically select that this chromium be a high priority, and we can have a secondary output for chromium that maybe sends it right back into applied energistics. But then what we'll do is just make sure that the chromium dust is in this drawer right here. We're currently not storing chromium.
I didn't understand that, but you know what? I'm gonna nod and say yes.
Essentially, chromium dust we can store in a drawer so that we can export with AE2 later.
Oh, why didn't you just say so?
Channel 1 is chromium, so as long as the down direction has an insert on channel 1, and with to make sure that the insert going into the mixer is a higher priority, that means it'll always try and send chromium in here first, and then any extra chromium should get sent down into the interface. This should automatically be filled up. Yeah, so now this drawer is being filled up with the chromium. Wait, did you take some out? No.
I just put it back in.
Okay, I was like, where did it all go? That spooked me.
I yoinked it all just to be sure. You know?
I was like, wow, my plans just went out the window, and so did all the chromium. So we gotta make a spot in our new HV wing. It looks familiar in here.
So yeah, you do this, you do that.
Why are you doing? Okay, why are you doing it here? I just designed this over here for this very purpose, and you put it on the floor again.
Ta-da! I was in the middle of making some.
No.
You just wasted materials.
No.
Yeah.
Things are going well today.
Your mother.
Whoa.
Raised you better than that.
Yeah, you better watch what you say about my mother. So maybe we'll just make another 3-piece EBF here again, like last time. Which means it's time to get kanthal coils automated, because I have a feeling this is going to be a point of pain if we don't actually get these automated.
We have a bunch already, though.
And
I made a bunch just for
8.
fun.
Which is not a bunch. It's enough for half of one.
You know, I made a bunch. No, I made a bunch earlier, and we are now out of the ones that I pre-logged.
Well, let's see. It takes aluminum foil, kanthal, and liquid copper. All we have to do is make sure we have all the ingredients stocked for it, and then we can request them. And that'll speed up the process drastically, because I'm sick and tired of doing things manually. What's the point of having an applied energistics if you're not going to apply the energistics?
You know, You have a point. You look like the kind of person who doesn't even apply their energistics.
It's actually wild that you would say that to someone.
I know, right? Absolutely going for the throat.
Remember that whole thing about liquid copper? And you're like, why do I need liquid copper? And we never actually figured it out. Now I actually need liquid copper. Now, thankfully,
turntables.
Well, thankfully, this cell is actually still configured to accept liquid copper, so I just need to put the setup back on again.
I
What are you doing here?
have the mind of a master. I have the mind
No,
of
no,
a
no.
master.
No, no, no.
mind.
Hold on. Wait, stop. Everyone stop. No. This is
Yeah.
this is arguably stupid. This is arguably potentially the most stupid thing you've ever done in your life.
We need this many mixers. Okay, well I hooked them up. Now fix it, I guess.
No, take it down. I'm not even dealing with this right now. I'm going back to what I was doing.
Well, I'm just gonna continue setting it up then.
Oh no. Which means it's gonna be more fixing for me later.
Making it worse.
And here I was, ready to have some nice fun GregTech today, but Grace had other plans.
It's pretty bad.
Shut up. So that's 40 total. And we have all the resources here, and this should hopefully start doing its thing. All right, we're automating kanthal coils now. Now that we have access to the ULPIC chips automatically, we can probably set up an automation here for the medium voltage coil. And basically if we do that, then we should be able to request the energy hatches on demand. All this takes again is just another assembler recipe. It needs to be on circuit 1 though. It might not be a terrible idea to have multiples of these just assemblers to do various crafts. Maybe another few assemblers up here just to do some of our MV crafts. Well, I'll at least add one more. Maybe I won't add multiples. Allow items to output from the input side. So this is going to have to be on circuit 1 to make this whole thing work. And I'll go encode a couple more patterns over here. All right, let's throw this inside of the pattern provider here. So now I can probably request the MV energy hatches straight up. Okay, it puts all the items in here, no problem. Yep, so it does one at a time here. It's a little slower, but realistically, it's not too bad. If we really wanted to, something called the requester. Yeah, the ME requester. This will allow us to basically, very similarly to how refined storage requesting works, ask it to keep a certain stock of a certain item. That'll make it really nice if we want to have a few things buffered, but we don't want to like effectively put it on passive crafting. We might want to keep it, you know, maybe with 32 in stock at all times, just to keep things nice and moving faster. We might use one of those in the future, but for now, this will do. But after all that yapping, we should be pretty close to finishing our kanthal coils, at which point then we can make our next set of EBFs. The only thing that I actually didn't check is we are actually completely missing the heat-proof Invar machine casings, and those can be made inside of an assembler as well. And I think this would be worth setting up an automation for, because the Invar casings are going to be something that we're going to use a lot of in the future, just making more and more EBFs going forward. So having these already made will be actually really nice. And I might even just use the spot down here to do this because we do have just enough space. Gracia says she has to show me something and I'm scared. What's going on over here?
Stainless steel.
Okay, this looks better than it did before.
Yeah, I figured.
Oh, but the points are... That's so lazy. That's so lazy. You can't do this. You can't...
We don't have the superconductors for medium voltage. I figured I would just until we have the superconductors. Why? I would like to have the superconductors.
I mean, like,
so
until
just
then,
the points on for now.
Yeah, but until then, we can just do something like this. Just use a couple copper cables, and it just saves on points. Points are laggier than cables.
Well, this I think is a better setup than I did last time. This
is definitely better than last time. We're making so much stainless steel. Wow. Do we even have the throughput to support that? Are we gonna run it at chromium?
Probably.
Well, yeah, I know, but then it's gonna overfill on another type.
Well, but the other half of this is going to be chromium production. We are going to cook, man. We need so much stainless steel. You have no idea. Like, this is going to be the resource we need to really lean into.
Yeah, how many EBFs we're going to have to keep up with the rate that we're making dust?
Exactly. No, we're going to need like a 3x3 of EBFs.
Like, currently, this is making 9 at a time, and it takes 30 seconds. We need 9 EBFs for every single mixer. No, we need like 100 EBFs.
Then let's do it. The next room is only stainless steel EBFs.
And since the last clip, a couple things have changed around here. First off, I tried to put some different facades on some of these existing setups we had, and to be honest, I don't like them. The plan is we're going to be doing a little more creative design around our setups in the future. At least that's what the hope is. For now, this is what we have. The pack has also been updated, so we are running a new version of the GregTech mod, and I believe that is what's causing these EBFs to now have a different texture. It actually shows the blocks of the coils individually now instead of forming a multi-block, which I don't know. I don't know if that's an upgrade or a downgrade. Let me know what you think in the comments. I think I preferred the other design better with the connected textures, but that's just me. The main thing that we have to focus on now is going to be getting our stainless steel production up and running, because stainless steel, as we've mentioned in the past, is a very important resource, and we're going to need a lot of this stuff going forward. So much so that I actually think we're planning on having 10 EBFs, and we're going to dedicate 10 EBFs here to only producing stainless steel, which might seem like a little overkill, and it probably is. Now, based on the speed that we're going to be running our EBFs at, which is going to be HV, we can make one stainless steel ingot every 36 seconds. If we have 10 of these running all together, we are hopefully going to be able to basically get one ingot every 3.6 seconds or so, which for 10 EBFs still seems pretty slow, but that's just going to be the reality of what we're working with right now. Even though Grace's little setup here with all of these mixers was pretty cool, it is vastly overkill for the throughput.
No, underkill.
All right, this setup is a lot smaller and a lot easier to work with here. And then we're making sure that we have keep exact, and then we have the quantities specified here. If you didn't know, you can change the quantities of how much you want kept in stock just by either shift left clicking or shift right clicking. If you shift right click, it will increase it and it'll double it. I think you can just do normal right click to increase it by 1. But yeah, if you do shift right click, it doubles it. So we're having it keep 1 stack in each here, and that is going to be perfect. So that's making all of our stainless steel. Now we have to hook this drawer up into our actual system here. So we could do this a couple ways. We could just use a storage bus. Actually, that might be a better way to do that, to be honest, instead of doing it the exporter, because that way the storage bus will be able to have just a high priority set to it. You had to set to like 2000. Now comes the fun part. We got to set up 10 EBFs.
A lot of EBFs.
It's a lot, but I have done a bit of prep work, but we got to put 10 of them in here. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 rows of 5. We'll do 1 row up front and then 1 probably right behind. Now we're going to wall share in the rows of 5, but I don't think we're going to bother row sharing with the ones behind. And we probably could get away with it, but I think just for my own brain and making sure we're not having too many overlapping things, I think we're just going to have wall sharing per row. And if we grab our casings out just to kind of visualize this, that is going to be our surface of EBFs. The other thing that can be shared is going to be the coil blocks, of course. So we can go ahead and place those coils down. And the coils are kind of the expensive part of this whole process. They take the most time to craft up. So being able to share the coils is going to be the most important part. And taking a look behind here, we are going to be perfect on space, because what I was planning on doing here, every EBF is going to have its own set of energy hatches. And because we only have access to the MV hatches, we have to have 2 of them. So I guess the thing that I realized is once we have higher tier energy hatches available to us, we can actually get away with only having EBFs run with 1 energy hatch and not having to use 2 so that we can overclock it to the next tier. But in this case, because we're only using MV energy hatches, we have to have 2 always, which makes it a little bit harder to set these up side by side because we can't have these really sharing energy hatches at all. It just won't work out that well. Just some LV muffler hatches on top should be fine. Now for the maintenance hatches. So we can have this be an input hatch, and then this can be an input bus. And because it is just going to be sharing the output as well, we could also just have an output bus here and be a 3rd shared block. All right, so all these EBFs have properly formed, which is awesome. We have to make sure that these are set to the proper circuit. We're going to be wanting to use circuit 2, which is the one that uses the nitrogen gas. Find our input buses and make sure that this is selected to circuit 2. So with all of our tools in hand, we should be able to solve the maintenance issues on every single one of these. And here we go. We have 5 EBFs all cranking out stainless steel. We're going to make sure this is well upgraded so this can hold an absolute ton. 1 million stainless steel, I think, is plenty. The last thing I have to do is set up 5 more of these EBFs. So I'm just gonna do the exact same thing I just did, but again. All right, there we go. All 10 EBFs are up and running, and we are up to 105 ingots already, which is awesome. And as we get access to higher tiers of the energy hatches, we can come back here and just replace these with the higher tiers, and that'll basically double the output every time we upgrade these. So now that we have all of the stainless steel that we could possibly want coming in, I think it's time that we start setting up some automations so that we can start getting into HV machinery. And getting into HV machinery is going to unlock a whole lot and also allow us to make things a whole lot faster. So it's going to be a few things that we do have to make. Mainly the HV machine hulls are a very important component of every single HV machine, and that requires just some stainless plates. We're going to be starting to tap into more and more of our rubber supplies as we go along. So at some point, probably in the near future, we are going to have to look at either finding a better source of rubber. Right now, I think to get ourselves the HV machinery though, we are just going to use our liquid rubber storage. So we'll go ahead and get a lot of those automations set up probably in this hallway back here in our HV section. Let's do it. Alright, so very simply now I have stainless steel plates being made, as well as the HV machine casings, and also the stainless steel rods. I'm going to upgrade these machines to HV probably very soon. We have to make sure we have some cabling to run power for HV, but apart from that, these are doing their job. I also have an assembler up here, which is just making use of a pattern provider, which has the pattern for 2x silver cable in here. So now we can come in here, go HV motor, and I've made a few just test ones here, but we can request 10. So if I hit start, you'll see that it starts sending everything over here to make the rubber covered cables. And we are making HV motors fully automatically, which is great because this is going to be a huge component of a lot of different machines going forward, especially things like the clean room and quite a few other machines that we are just going to want to upgrade all of our other stuff to, just so that everything is running quite a bit faster. And while I was doing all this, Grace was doing her own thing, and she has
Grace
some stuff.
was busy. Hello. I've been looking and making a roadmap. That's first and foremost. Look at the dock. But I've also been looking to what we're going to be needing for this next tier. So basically, I've been working up here to try and get some of the basic, like, sheets, wires, things like that automated for what we'll need for this tier. Fine wire, alloy, and then also copper, both the dust and the sheets. The tantalum, fine wire, and sheets, and the gallium sheets are the ones I've been working on the most. We will get more into those individually, but they're basically all important crafting ingredients for the microprocessor, which is scary. To make the microprocessor assembly, there's a whole bunch of stuff in it, including 2 microprocessors. They are also pretty hefty to make and involve a lot of things. Yeah. For the SMD capacitor, we are going to use the tantalum and thin polyvinyl chloride sheet, which gives us 24 instead of 8, because both of them use polyethylene. But if you have the polyvinyl chloride and you have the tantalum, it is significantly better.
And just to recap, we are actually making the PVC because this does actually allow us to use the ChemLib one, not just the GregTech one. If it wasn't for that, a little bit more of a problem on our hands.
It also means that we have a head start on the plastic printed circuit boards, which also require polyvinyl chloride.
Safe to say, we've been doing prep. We have more prep to do, but we're making progress.
We finally replaced, we got HV, which means that we now get the byproducts. So if we are getting a byproduct, now we have boron being produced from this. This is temporary, of course. We can actually make something more permanent. I figured it was best to get it going because it takes a lot of lepidolite processing to get any boron.
Okay.
The Super Track 2.0.
So we had a complete pivot. We said, forget what we wanted to do. We want to make a hypertube.
This is so unnecessary, and I love every minute of it.
So
that was so much fun.
So we were thinking, we're like, okay, like we could have multiple anchors set up like everywhere, but right now we have one anchor at the start of every single wing. So what if we had a way that we could like get to the end of the hallway where we're basically going to be working the most, usually almost immediately. And if we have a travel anchor directly above, we can have kind of an elevator, and we have an ultra vector plate up there. So if we just go up, it just shoots us with a little hyper tube. I want to do it again. I want to do it again. I want to do it again.
It spits you out like almost perfectly in the middle here, which is actually kind of fire.
2 hours later.
We got really silly, but we have something that's kind of fun. We have another super track. But I think that's where we're going to leave it for this episode. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. I really hope you did enjoy. If you did enjoy, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to join the Discord. The link is in the description down below. But that's it for me, everybody. I hope you all have a good one, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Bye!